As long as you guys can hear me, I would love to introduce Kathleen here and let her take it over because it sounds like y'all can hear her. My name is Juan. I've been at Monday for a good bit now, and I've hosted some webinars in the past, but this is the first one really focused on small businesses, which I in particular really excited to share with you guys. Kathleen is a champion, and she's going to share a little bit about her story and how her and her team have really been successful using our platform, especially in the wake of the current situation. So I won't take any more of your time. I will let her kick it off, and I'll manage the questions throughout the webinar here. Feel free to just drop those in there, and then towards the end, we can also address them over the chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Juan. And I'm sorry we're having some technical difficulties there. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I see so many different countries and parts of the world here, which is just so very exciting for me. So thank you all for joining. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into our screen share here. So give me 2 seconds. All right. So Juan, if you could keep a look on the chat just in case anyone shares anything about any technical difficulties, that would be helpful. Let's go ahead and share this with you guys. I'm going to present this in full screen. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. Awesome. So now that should be on the same screen. So thank you so much for welcome, and thank you for joining Achieving Success as a Small Business Using Monday. I am really excited to be invited to be with you all here today. My name is Kathleen Menegozzi, and I am from Jack's Pizza. And just to jump in really quickly into the agenda, we will be going through a round of introductions. I will tell you a little bit more about myself, and then I will proceed with telling you a little bit more about Jack's Pizza and our story. And then I'll give you specific examples from our boards and how we're using Jack's Pizza or how we're using monday.com right now during this crazy COVID period that we're all going through. There's lots of changes that Monday has been able to facilitate for us, which is really fantastic. From there, we will jump into conclusions and we'll talk about tips and the impact that Monday has had on us as a small business. We'll go into support for small businesses and how Monday can generally support small businesses, kind of no matter what it is that you're doing. And then from there, as Juan mentioned, we will jump into the Q&A portion of today's webinar. So that is the agenda for today, folks. I hope that works. Jumping into me, this is me. Hello, good morning. I am Kathleen Menegozzi, as I have already mentioned, and I am a social entrepreneur from New York City with about 10+ years of business development experience, ranging from corporations to startups and over to nonprofits. My areas of interest at this point are economic mobility, equity, and radical inclusion. So 2 years ago, I relocated from hustling and bustling New York City all the way to rural New Hampshire with a mission of creating economic mobility through sustainable small business ownership for frontline restaurant workers living in the opportunity gaps of rural America. So I use Monday to unlock the doors and windows of small business ownership through dynamic governance that can be accomplished by anyone from anywhere. And I think this is a really, really big point to make here today because I think a lot of what we're talking about does relate to our small business, but I think when it comes to transparency and how we enable our workers to really take a look at everything that we do, that is really relevant to hopefully all of you. So here's the story behind Jack's Pizza. I'm gonna move this out of my way here. Our videos there. So the story behind Jack's Pizza, we are a 20-year-old sole proprietorship that is owned by this guy over here, Jason. And Jason Isabel has a dream of traveling the country and moving into a pint-sized portable home called the Bean. That is the Bean right there that you can see. And he wants to live out the rest of his dreams in the #van life world, traveling and roaming all about the States and maybe internationally. So 2 years ago, I actually joined Jack's to help Jason sell the company. He asked me to join and repackage and organize things and get it ready for a sale. But when I arrived and heard from the workers and heard about the struggle that goes on in areas like where we're located, which is Pittsfield and Alton, New Hampshire, we decided instead that rather than to sell Jack's to the highest bidder, I persuaded Jason to create an experimental legacy project aimed at creating economic mobility for restaurant workers, specifically the restaurant workers that have kept Jack's going now for about 20 years. So we are now about 2 years into the capacity building phase, where all aspects of the business now operate on Monday with 100% transparency across the company. Beyond transparency, actually, one thing I want to mention there, one small caveat, is that for anyone who works in HR, there's a red flag that might get raised there about 100% transparency. There's obviously some parts of our business that we have to maintain confidentiality, and I will talk with you about how we use Monday to do that as well. But beyond transparency, entry-level workers need support to stabilize their lives and prepare for the growth of taking on ownership of a small business like Jack's. So here's a few of the additional support structures we offer our team and we manage through Monday. So we offer workshops and coaching on everything from resiliency to financial literacy, nutrition, mental health, and college prep. And there's actually a much longer list, but I will stop there. We offer monetary support to our team. We have a compensation tier that goes from $10 per hour all the way up to $23 per hour, and actually well beyond there. And this is a self-guided compensation scale for our team members that basically divvies up the work of managers and senior level supervisors so that it's more widely accessible to anybody who's interested in getting trained and learning those skills. We have an emergency loan fund that we make available. And then, of course, we have a wide range of training that we offer to our team, everything from leadership to operations and HR, of course, and also the food prep. And I feel like the food is often sometimes the thing that gets mentioned the last at Jack's Pizza, but it is a big part of what we do, even though we are a newly formed social enterprise as of 2 years ago. For 20 years, as I mentioned, we have been operating as a pretty typical pizza shop. So we're looking to change things up a little bit. So that is a little bit more about Jack's Pizza. So let's keep moving on here. Oh, let me get out of this. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. Okay, guys. Not sure why I couldn't just change the slide there, but we'll go back over here. Okay, guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into what on earth does Jack's manage with monday.com. So the things we're going to share with you today, we're going to talk about our human resources boards, and this covers a lot of different areas, and I'll walk you through some of the automations that we use for that, and I'll talk with you a little bit more about automations. We'll move into our programming, and that's some of the program that I already mentioned to you on the previous slide. We'll talk about our operations of our 2 different stores, and some of what's going to fall under that will be the individual tasks and productivity that we manage through Monday, as well as our team communication. So from there, I'm going to jump into my Monday and let you guys take a look at what we have going on there. All right. So we'll start just really, really quickly with an overview of my workspaces right now. So you can see our workspaces here on the left. My screen is kind of blinking. I hope that's not happening for you guys. But we're over here. These are all of our workspaces over here on the left-hand side. So you can see we have a number of different areas here. And what we're going to start off focusing on is our human resources. So as I've been mentioning to you several times during the introduction, so as a company looking to create economic mobility for restaurant workers, one of the things I am most interested in doing is making every step of our work transparent and hands-on throughout the company, and in some cases with our partners that we work with on some of our programming. So one of the best examples of transparency and confidentiality while keeping our workers in the driver's seat and safe is our human resources workspace. So we're going to jump into our human resources workspace right here. You can see here all of the different boards that we have and folders. We're going to start with our hiring and onboarding board of applicants and interviews. So here we are on our applicants and interviews board. So this one is a pretty extensive board. You can see this goes down pretty far. I'm going to start by just showing you the columns that we have going on. So this is the first step for anyone who applies to work with our company. And we have a number of automations on here. You can see here where you have this little robot up here. We have 19 different automations, which means there's 19 different workflows or processes that we've been able to automate so that it gets done automatically with using Monday. So we'll go through a couple of those. But to jump in here, Applicants and Interviews is where it all begins. Applicants who apply on any one of our platforms. So if you're from the US, you might be familiar with Indeed. We work with a number of different platforms that you can see here. Snag a Job, we have paper applications, Facebook, a number of different areas. Our columns here, we have our status, which is obviously where we are with the process. We have a rating based on how they align with us. Our location is which one of our stores they are looking to work for. We have the specific position that they are applying for. We have their application here, and we have their virtual interview, their in-person interview, the final decision, and then the link to the company directory board. And we'll talk about the link to the company directory board in a few minutes. But just to start off by showing you exactly what's here and what you have available, we make this, the transparency on this board is represented in the fact that each step of the process is uploaded directly here. If you see these earmarks, that implies that there is more information behind here. So if we just hold our bar over here, you can see the PDF upload of Christine's, or this is Kyla's resume. So Kyla has her resume uploaded here where everybody can take a look at what she has going on and what is going on with her background. And what I like about this is our team members can come in here and take a look at who I'm hiring and interviewing on my end. Our team is not yet involved significantly in the hiring front. We actually tried that and realized that that didn't work out so well, and they needed more of a ramp to get there. So what our team members do now is they look through the window of what's happening on the hiring front by taking a look at the resumes that get submitted. And then from there, you can move over to these virtual interviews. And we no longer do in-person interviews, so that's why you see NA there. Our virtual interviews are uploaded here as actual videos of the interview that happened. And then from there, you have the notes that are typically right below it. So we have a bunch of interview notes from this particular candidate, Mike. And this is really great because this enables, again, everybody on the team to get a look at the interview, to get familiar with what the interview process looks like, and to get to know new team members that might be joining them in the restaurant soon after this point. So this gives us the transparency that we're looking for, which I really, really enjoy. And this integrates with our Google Drive. So this video was actually uploaded directly because my Google Drive, something was going on with it yesterday. But what we like about this is that if we don't want to upload the video directly, or we don't want to download it from our cloud Zoom account, we can link our Google Drive, which is where all of our videos get uploaded. We can link it directly here, and we can share information directly from our Google Drive. And this is something I really enjoy doing. It just saves me a lot of time, a lot of energy, and obviously saves me a lot of space on my local hard drive. So that usually works really well for me. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what we automate from this board. So Michael is one of our most recent interviews. So I'm going to actually just take you through the process. So you can see here that the final decision, we haven't reached it yet because we're pending tours here. He's going to be walking through our 2 different locations. You can see pending tours here as well. He'll be walking through our locations to take a look at what we have to offer. And then let's say he did that and we went ahead and we said, let's hire Michael. If I click hired here, what's set up is an automation that will take Michael's information from here and add it to my relevant HR boards that will be the company directory, and his information will be added amongst the rest of our team members who have also been hired. So I'll go ahead and show you that automation. It's up here where you see this little robot. So you see a number of different automations here, and you can kind of look through what we have done here. Kaylin is our person who manages our incoming employees in terms of processing their paperwork and documents. So as soon as the final decision is marked to hire, Kaylin gets a notification that that employee has been hired, and she then knows to watch out for another board that gets automatically created to make sure that she's receiving the information that she needs there. So what happens here is I will show you the specific automation. So when a final decision changes to hired, create an item in the company directory and link them using link to company directory in this board. So this is really great because this enables me to not have to get involved with that work of adding each new person that we hire onto the company directory board. This automatically does it. So let's go ahead and I will click here, final decision to hired. And two different boards or two different actions get created then. So the first one is adding this person to the company directory board. So if we go over here to the company directory, which is also under resources or human resources, you will see here, if I scroll down, this is our entire team. So this is where we keep track of a number of things, and I will share more with you about the company directory board in a bit. But let's just keep scrolling down here to the general staff, and there you will see Michael. So that is the automation that automatically puts Michael's information here on my company directory board, and now the additional information will continue to get filled out here. So that is one of my favorite automations that I think everybody should be doing. It just saves us oodles and oodles of time, which I really like. And then another board that gets created is the self-governed onboarding checklist task board that gets created for every new team member. So when I click that hired button, hang on one second. So I'm going to do it with something else because for some reason the automation didn't work there. So something is happening with my automation there, but I will work with the previous person who was just hired, Dietrich. So Dietrich was another candidate who got hired in the same way. He made his way through that board. We clicked hired. And then Dietrich's onboarding task board was created here. So this is Dietrich's onboarding tasks. And what Dietrich will do now, so he's going to be shared with this or on this in a little while, actually, since he's one of our newest people. Once Dietrich is shared on this, this is a self-guided onboarding process, which has eliminated hours and hours of my time in having to work with them to see where they're at, get them to the next step, and get the information they need. Everything that they need to be onboarded with us. And that includes figuring out what this board is about. And every other part of working with JAX is all in this 7-step process. So once I click hired on the interviews and applicants board, this board gets created. They have their 7 steps of onboarding that they have to do. I share them as a guest onto this board. And what I like about being able to share them as a guest onto this board is obviously our model is extremely challenging. It has a lot more depth than most pizza shops offer. So not every person who gets hired is necessarily going to remain with the team. So what I like about this is this board being a shareable board allows me to add guests that are not actually members of my team yet, but they are guests of our team in order to get them shared on this board where they have access to it, but they're not actually adding to my membership count that is given to me in the subscription tier that I'm on right now. I think I have a limit of maybe 30 or some odd team members. So when I add a guest to a board like this, it doesn't take away from my team member count that adds to my tier. And I think that that's just a really, really great thing that enables and gives me so much more flexibility when it comes to working with new team members of ours. So this process, like I said, is a completely self-guided process. The team member will be added here. So I'm actually, you know what, let me not go through that because we are limited on time, so I don't want to get too distracted here. But this is our onboarding board for new team members, and this really has saved me a whole lot of time. This also links to a number of different boards and questions that we have. So you can see here, step number 3, complete questions. We have a number of different surveys. We have preferred hours. These are actually forms that they can fill out on Monday. So if you see here, this is a Monday form that I was able to create. And this has actually saved me a lot of money on surveymonkey.com. Paid services like surveymonkey.com is typically where we looked and turned to before Monday to get this type of form out to our team. And instead, we can just create it directly on Monday. Forms is an amazing feature, and I will see if I have some time to go into that. But for right now, we will leave it there with forms. So this is really helpful for us. This connects them with a number of other things that we've been able to create in Monday and allows them to answer the questions that I need answered without me having to walk them through it. So this entire board is just extremely, extremely helpful for us and automates our onboarding process in a way that saves us a lot of time. All right, guys. So from there, what I'd like to move on to is actually one other thing I want to mention about this onboarding board is that this onboarding board allows me to actually assess the skills of new team members before they get too far into the door. right? So there's a number of different things that they have to do here. They have to upload PDFs. They have to be able to edit PDFs. They have to do a number of things in order to get past this point. So if team members can't get past this point, then it really gives me an early assessment of what support they might need on the technology front. So not only does this board automate my onboarding process for each new team member, but it also enables me to assess where they are in terms of their comfort and savvy with technology. And I think that's really awesome as well, and has helped me get a really, really good sense of each new team member that we bring in. So like I've mentioned many, many times, this has taken my hiring process, this and the interviews and applicants board, these two boards have really made a rather laborious process of hiring and onboarding into a much more streamlined, automated process where many of the workflows are done automatically for me. And this has really transformed my hiring and onboarding. And one other thing I want to mention is one of the things that our team members have to do is obviously upload confidential information. So here on step 4, you can see a number of the government documents that we require. So these obviously we would not want shared with the entire team. This is a private board that is shared only with myself and whoever I add as a guest. But then with these confidential documents, what I can then do is what I'm doing here is I'm bringing up a bold switch, just so you know, I'm doing that really quickly. This is a really great feature that I love as well. This is the Command or Control B. It pops up. These are all of the boards that I have available to us as a team. So you can see a number of different things here, but this just makes it really easy to find any board. So I'm gonna go to our confidential documents board. So here we are. Confidential employee documents. This is a private board that is shared just amongst the people who have authorization to view this board. And you can see everything here from everyone's offer letters, their W-4s, their I-9s, direct deposits. And then you also have people's compensation boards. And this is the scale that I was mentioning to you goes from $10 to $23 per hour. So everybody has their specific compensation board here. And this links to our Google Drive. You saw that just popped open my Google Drive. This spreadsheet allows me to track their progress. I'm not going to go too far into that, but that's another really, really great integration with Google Drive that enables us to pull in just the information that we need here for just the people that need that information. So this is how we maintain confidentiality in our hiring process, and we keep everybody safe. So one other part of human resources that really helps us stay organized and track the long-term progress of everybody on our team is our company directory board. So let's go back over there. And we visited this really quickly before, but we'll do a deep dive right now. So this is our company directory board. So you can see here, we have a number of different people who are listed on this board. In our groups, we have our intern teams, our stewards, so myself and Jason. We have our leadership team, we have our graphic design person and general staff, and this goes on. We have our virtual office team members. We have a number of different team members. And then we have our former employees here. So going over from left to right here to cover some of the columns, obviously you can see birthday. Anybody who needs to sign a confidentiality agreement based on what they do, their confidentiality agreement is uploaded here. We have their employment status, where they work in terms of our different store locations or virtually, as you can see here. The position that they work in, their date of hire, their mood, which is something I like. This is actually not being used as frequently as it used to be. This company directory board used to be available to everybody, but for privacy concerns, this is a private board that is shared only amongst the leaders of the team. So the mood was a really neat way for people to go and change their moods and let us know how they were feeling, how they were doing that day, and we can have a measure of where they are. And then we just have general contact information here, their shirt size, and then we have a link to their confidential documents board just in case we ever need that. And then we have this new addition of glove and mask size for team members. So this is our company directory board, and what I like about this is this enables us to talk amongst the leadership team privately about the different concerns or behavioral issues that we have coming up, or just requests that our team members might have. So you can see here, we have a number of things that gets tracked here. Actually, that's a request. Oh, this is one of the things that I really like. I like that this is popping up. So this is a request that I have drafted to Kayla. oftentimes I find that my attention is being pulled in a lot of different directions. So I might start a message like this and not finish it. Monday, I love that they have this set up where it will keep the draft of what you've set up there. And whenever you go back to that thing, that draft will be the first thing you see there. So this is really great. This tells me that I need to send this over to Kayla about a mural that we're looking to do in the side of our building. But you can see here, so we have a mentorship survey that Kayla filled out that is included here. We have some conversation that goes back and forth on this. But these details track the course of each person's employment with us. So for every team member of ours, that goes all the way back to their first point of hiring, and any details we have about their interviews or preferences, it's all noted there inside of their notes there by date, which is really, really phenomenal. And this is how we keep everything organized. We stay on the same path. We upload warnings. I'll give you an example of a warning that we've had to issue recently. So we can see here, we've had some attendance issues. And then there is Amina's warning that was recently issued. So this is great because this is real live information to our team where they can know exactly where a team member stands. I usually alert everybody about the fact that a warning has been issued so everybody can be in the know. And this is a great way just to keep everybody's individual documents that relate to their performance all in one place that is protected and safe, and we don't have to worry, but we can still have a group discussion online in a way that does not require additional meetings. So coming out of the company directory board, now what we're going to move into from human resources is how we manage our 2 store locations. Like I mentioned, we are in 2 different rural communities of New Hampshire. We are in Pittsfield, New Hampshire, as well as Alton, New Hampshire. And as a company, living through the COVID era, just like all of you guys are, what we've decided to do is not to host in-person meetings while we make our way through this mess. So the decision to protect our workers and our customers makes the work that we do on Monday absolutely crucial. So I'm going to show you now how we track the day-to-day operations, how we've expanded our ordering capacity, and how we keep our team members and customers safe, and we track their individual progress. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at our red books. And actually, this that I'm gonna show you right now, I'm gonna show you our old school version of red books. So this was, if anybody's from the States watching this from the restaurant industry, you will probably recognize this, right? This is the branded red book that everyone used to use. This is a mess, right? We have our day-to-day receipts, we have our deposits in here, we have our notes from every single day. This is literally how we used to keep track of what went on in our 2 different stores. This would literally sit on the front counter of our stores. Nobody would ever see it, and it would be of use to no one. So this is now gone, and I'm really happy that that's gone. So let's go ahead and show you guys what the modern day red book is and what Monday has enabled us to do with our red book. So I'm gonna get out of human resources. We go back to my bolt switch here. I love the bolt switch. And let's go over to our red books. So you'll see our Pittsfield red book and our Alton red book. Let's just jump into Pittsfield red book right here. So this goes month by month, going from top to bottom. So you see October here is first. That's obviously the current month. So we're there. And then it goes all the way back. You can see all of the previous months listed below. And then as for our columns, so you can tell who's on shift. We assign specific team members based on who's on shift for a specific evening or day. We have our closers who are closing the restaurant. Sometimes important to communicate with them and know where they are and what they're up to. We have our net sales for midday. We have our net sales for the total day. We have our deposit amounts. This is the cash that we deposit in our bank accounts. We have our break sheets uploaded. So we started doing this when we started realizing just inconsistencies with break sheets, and we felt like there might have been some dishonesty with them. So we started just really quickly photographing them, uploading them onto Monday, and you can see these are our breaks so we can keep track of who's going where at what times. And then we have our huddle column. So on some shifts, we have a need to announce things or have a quick huddle with the team. It's not every single shift, as you can see here, but there are definitely some moments where we need to communicate something. Yesterday, it was the workaround for our cooler and pizza line equipment issues that we were experiencing. So this makes it really easy for me or for Jason or for really any one of the leaders to communicate to the team on the ground in store what it is that we need to be huddled about and we need to have a conversation on. We have our comp and void tickets, we have our deposit slips, trainings. These are actually new fields that we're implementing right now. And this is the great thing about Monday. We are always building out our boards. We're always adding new things, and we test things to see how our team responds to those things. So we have our priorities for the day. We have any shortages on food and beverage that we want to list there. We have a repair and maintenance, and then we have our dated column for that. So a number of those aren't used, but these over here are really the ones that we use most frequently, which is why we have them over here on the left. And this just enables us, I'll go into the notes really quickly. Just like you've seen on the other boards, it enables us to just really stay up to date with what's going on. If Kayla posts this about running out of burgers, I know right away, I can call my suppliers, I can get an order in, and we can resolve this. And she does not have to be concerned about it. So you see a number of back and forth dialogue here, but everything that goes on inside of the store gets logged here by our team members, which gives me an incredible amount of security and feeling like I know what's going on in stores, even though I'm not there, in addition to Jason feeling like he has oversight on this in the stores. So this company directory, this Pittsfield Red Book, I'm getting my boards confused here. The Pittsfield Red Book really enables us to be constantly clued into what's going on inside of our stores and who is on shift and what the sales are looking like that day. So this is our Pittsfield Red Book. Moving on over, I want to talk to you guys a bit about how we've expanded our ordering platform. And this is a really, really great place that we didn't expect Monday to step in such a great way, but really they truly have. So when COVID hit, there were a number of our workers. Our workers are obviously essential workers. Many of our workers are immunocompromised and felt extremely, extremely uncomfortable working in store while we were running our operations, even after we decided to go curbside only. I imagine if there are restaurants on this call, you yourself might have gone curbside. We did ourselves back in March. But even with that, some of our team members felt uncomfortable. So what Monday enabled us to do is to create a board that enabled us to take remote orders. So what we do is we forward our phone lines to cell phones of certain team members of ours who have decided to go remote. They receive orders on their cell phone from home, and Monday acts as the mediary for those orders that they're receiving by phone that get entered into a handheld device that is actually produced and manufactured through our Toast software. So if you're familiar with the restaurant industry, you might use Toast. That's our POS, point of sale software that we use. Toast has a handheld device. So our team members from home receive the orders by phone. They place the order into their handheld device, and that order gets put into our screens in our kitchen, and our team members receive those orders on the screens. What doesn't happen is information from our stores prior to Monday was unable to get back to our remote customer service people without them calling or texting somebody to find out the information. This board acts as the mediary between those two different parts of our business now, our in-store operations and our remote customer service people. So you can see here, we have our in-store wait times going from top to bottom, just covering the groups really quickly. We have a number of useful information here that we have at the top. We list our in-store wait times. We have our order numbers. We have our shift notes. We have a super positive Polly on here who's frequently putting just positive, upbeat notes here to make sure everybody's having a good day. Actually, she's created her own section. She has her happy notes section. So we have a number of things here that just keep everybody in the know. And then we have our previous months here that you can see. So this is our September lineup of different orders that we received. You can see here, we utilize the same thing. What time do you want me to take lunch? They can communicate with each other on this board about breaks and timing of the number of different things, including the wait times. This enables our remote customer service people to give accurate wait times based on what's actually going on in store to our customers. So this has definitely alleviated a lot of pressure and stress for our customers. Just covering some of the columns here. So obviously we have our wait time, we have what payment method they used, we have our status, who has received that order, we have our customer service person who is working remote, and then we have our date of the order. So this one board has enabled us to really expand what we're capable of doing in terms of our ordering. If we did not have Monday, we would probably be working with Google Drive or some rudimentary version of this that would not enable us to do nearly as much as this board enables us to do. So this has been huge in expanding our capacity of ordering and what we're capable of doing. And really, at the end of the day, keeping our workers and our customers safe, which is really, really important now. So that is our remote toast go order platform, or board, I should say. And then the last thing I just want to go over with you really quickly is another really important part of managing 2 different locations, obviously the expenses of those locations. So I'm going to click my handy dandy Control V again. Oh, give me 2 seconds, there we go. So I'm going to just show you really quickly our 2020 expenses here. So this is where we track all of the various expenses of our team members. I'm sorry, of our different stores and our suppliers. So you can see here, we have our running grand totals for our different suppliers. We have our monthly amounts moving left to right here. We have our status for whether the check has been cut. We have a number of different things: paid in full, paid via ACH. These labels, obviously, we change them as we need to. And we have a number of different options listed here. And then we have it's broken out by month, and we just keep going over, and we have all of the totals that we need to be seeing for each one of our locations. And what's great about this is that this is where our in-store team members turn to if a supplier does ever call by phone to the stores. Our suppliers frequently call the stores as opposed to calling myself or Jason, despite our requests, which I imagine many restaurants have found with their suppliers. Not all your requests get heard or acknowledged. So this is where we really we enable our team to have all the same information that we have. We don't want our team members having to call me or call Jason to get the information that is available to them on the internet. We make all of this available to them. They can see what it is that we've cut and what we haven't cut. And most importantly, they can see, as potential future owners of Jack's Pizza, what the cost is. And this is really, really important for our team. I want our team to know how much we're spending on supplies. I want them to take the full breadth of how expensive it is to run even a small business. So this really does a really effective job of letting everybody know what goes into this. And it also opens up the door for other people to take this process on in the future. This will be my training module for anybody who steps into expenses in the future, which I'm certainly hoping somebody does. And we are gearing people up to do that, and we are bringing in technologies to do that. This will act as my training board, which is really, really great and saves me a lot of time. So those are our 2020 expenses board. We are running close to time here. So the last board I will show you is just our really quick socially distanced water cooler board that we call the Jack's Junction board. And then I will wrap it there because we do need to wrap it at 45 minutes. So we give you guys time for questions, and hopefully I will be able to provide answers, or somebody else will be able to provide answers on this call. But let's go really, really quickly over to my Jack's Junction board. So this is, like I said, this is our modern day water cooler that is socially distanced. Give me 2 seconds. All right, here we are. So this is where all the magic happens with every single one of our team members. So this is where everybody is required to pay attention to. We have a number of different groups here that you can see. Our welcome just gives everybody a rundown on the board and what the purpose of this is, and allows people to make requests for any information that they want to see here. We have our staff announcements. We have shift coverage. So if somebody needs to call out for the day, you can see here, Mason needs shift coverage. This looks like it's today. So this is an actual request for somebody to receive coverage for her shift. We have reminders. Our general team. So what this enables here is this enables all of our team members to come here and to choose any person on our team that they would like to communicate with and start a conversation. So you can see a number of things. I'll use me as an example just so we don't reveal any personal information about anybody here. So you can see here, this is my pulse here under the general team, and anybody can come here and communicate directly with me. So you can see Emma's request here, and you will see a number of other requests from people that they can let me know here. This has whenever I receive a text message to my phone, which sometimes still happens, especially for older employees of ours, this is a great place where I redirect every single team member of ours. I want to create, as much as I'm all about, creating economic mobility for restaurant workers, I do believe in healthy boundaries. So this is how I can create those healthy boundaries. Any texts that get sent to my phone get immediately redirected to Monday through this medium that enables people to reach out to me directly or anyone on the team directly. So the Jack's Junction board is really a one-stop shop for not just communication, but a number of different resources, including our different programs. And I will wrap it here with sharing just a little bit about our programs here. So we have our shout outs. You can see a number of things here. So these are our workshops that we're working on right now. We're working on a 4-part nutrition workshop series. So you can see that there. And then we have our Jack's programs and initiatives. So this is an actual group on this board that I walk any new team member through so that they are aware of all of the various things that we make available to our team. So, and you can see there, we offer everything from fitness to college prep to health and safety training inside of restaurants to our employee assistance program. There are a number of things that are listed here that are made available to our team. They also have this general information that you can see uploaded here about what's being offered there. So this is just the Jack's Junction board. Not only is a tool for communication, but it's also just a tool for really, really important information about our programming that we make available to our team. And this is where a lot of the magic happens. This is really a buzzing area of lots of activity, lots of comments, and lots of conversation. So without this Jack's Junction board, without Monday, period, I just have no idea how we would be able to operate in this crazy time right now. All of these boards together enable us to continue to function together, which is really, really super important for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Hopefully we've resolved any of our tech issues that we're having.
I think we're sorted with the tech issues. Thanks for everyone for bearing with us in the beginning there. Kathleen, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think I stand with the chat and everyone that was dropping comments with how impressive that is. You really are a champion of Monday. And I think it's spurred a lot of questions into how you've gotten here. I'd love to just read off some of these questions so that you can maybe speak to how you've learned some of these things or how you're using specific parts of the platform. And I have a couple of them that I think we can start to answer. Let me just pull those up 1 second.
Cool.
Right.
While you're doing that, you're pulling this up, I just want to make a mention. If anybody is listening that is working in the social justice space, or you are interested in economic mobility or equity or restaurant workers or essential workers, I absolutely would love to connect with you. I've included my email address here on the bottom of the slide that we are on right now. Feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk more about economic mobility if you're in that space. And even if you're not, you just want to say hi. Always here to say hi. So that is my contact information. Back over to you, Juan. Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Great. Well, Mark Sweeney says, hello from New York City. Kathleen, how long have you and your team been using Monday? And what are 4 tips you'd recommend? I jotted down bolts, automations, confidentiality, and forums. Thank you. You're the bomb.
I'm super excited to hear from somebody from New York City. I'm missing New York City like mad right now here in New Hampshire. So hope things are okay there. So 4 tips: definitely make use of automations, integrations. Monday actually does an amazing job of offering a lineup on their YouTube page of just an extensive array of catalog, the extensive catalog of a number of different just information, trainings, documents, materials, all kinds of different things you can find there. This webinar is a really good example of the guidance that Monday makes available to its members. So I would definitely make use and check out their YouTube channel, make use of automations, integrations. And then I would say, especially for our team and how important transparency is, I would encourage you to really get your team members up to speed on Monday almost before they even enter into your place of business. And I think that's really important to make sure that your team members are in the know on if you are a tech heavy company. We definitely advertise ourselves as being tech heavy, and we really mandate that people get involved with Monday right off the bat, which is why our onboarding process is specifically a checklist for them to go through Monday and see if they can make use of some of the tools. So my last tip would just be to make sure that you get your team members integrated with Monday as quickly as possible, so you can get the full value and they can also get the full value.
Awesome. This question is about the Red Book, and I personally got really excited when you brought out the physical Red Book and then showed just like the 1 or 2 simplified boards that now replace it. And the question is, what is the Red Book design, and was it ready or personalized? And I think they're probably looking to understand like how you translated this physical massive book into the beautiful boards you shared. So maybe you could share like how that process went and how you were translated.
Well, one of the things I really like so much about the streamlining that happened from our paper Red Book over to Monday is a lot of what was made available in the Red Books, which is actually a very expensive book. I think it's about $85 per book, which is bonkers to me. But a lot of what was made available to us there, we didn't even use. So the vast majority of the value that we were spending on that every single month didn't even add up. So what Monday really, it wasn't a setup board for us. So, and there are templates that Monday makes available, and you can use one of their templates to create a Red Book or like a log book in a very simple way. But it just really enabled us to put our dates. You can see, I'll go over to our board. I'll share that with you guys again here. Where is my Monday? Just gonna go over, probably makes sense for just me walking through here. So this board is actually like really straightforward. I know we have a number of different columns that we've added there, but this just really allowed us to pull from the Red Books, like the hard Red Books, exactly what we needed. This is the distilled version of what we needed from the Red Books, of just the information that we wanted. So it's important, obviously, that we know our sales. It's important what we know is what's being deposited. Actually, one thing I want to add here is an actual picture of the deposit receipt slip that they receive. And I think that would be another really awesome addition that would be uploaded in the same way that the break sheet is. But we just took the most important information that we feel that we really need to know as the director, and for Jason as the owner, especially as he travels cross country. These are the heaviest hitters. Like, these are the things he needs to know day by day, what's going on, so we know where the business is. So how we created this is we just distilled the most important information, and we just added here as columns. And obviously we made sure all of our team members are added so they can also add the important information. And then of course there was training that went into this so that each team member knows what's important to be noting here on a day-to-day basis. In the beginning, we were definitely getting comments that were not necessary, and it was an area for training that we were able to give to our team. And now I think we've established a pretty awesome board here that covers most of our basic needs. Hope that answered your question.
I think that's a great segue into our next question, because it looks like your team is really engaged. That's probably a combination of the culture you guys have created around how you use Monday and some of the boards you've used. But Tom Poole asks, what is your recommendation of getting team members to stop using other tools and get on Monday? So like Slack, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and email. How did you kind of help with that engagement?
I mean, it really does take consistent reminders, and really ourselves as the director and the owner and some of our intern team, that's really crucial to the programming that we make available to our staff. Just consistent reminders and redirecting everybody here. And what I like about Monday is that it doesn't make Google, it doesn't make it defunct. It doesn't make it that it's not useful. It's still a really useful tool. And that's what I love about their integrations. It just pulls in the information from Google Drive, from Zoom. Zoom is another integration that is available right now that I haven't gotten a chance to use yet, but I'm really looking forward to using, because I think if there's a Zoom feature that enables our team members on a board to all click Zoom and we just all go to the same place, this to me would save a lot of confusion. But a big part of how we've been able to get our team fully integrated on Monday is just to require it, to insist upon it. And that onboarding 7-step checklist that you saw really sets the tone for most of our new team members who come in, where if they're not down with Monday after that point, like they don't proceed through those 7 steps. So that's actually like quite a good gauntlet. It really eliminates anybody who is not going to be on board with this, and it sets the tone. And I found that setting the tone early on like that for what they can expect and getting them integrated with the software as quickly as possible has proven to be very, very, very effective for us.
Awesome. And obviously you've had a lot of success with it, so it's great to hear. One question we have is regarding the information you reference in Monday, and you've got like a lot of like business unit operations related data, as well as like how people are feeling, how are we communicating? And so the question asked, how do you keep on top of everything that you need to be aware of? And how typically you just manage this? So between the boards that are relevant to you and maybe those that are less off topic, how do you kind of manage that day to day?
So through the automations, and I will take you onto a specific board where the team member herself actually arranged, oh, can you guys see am I sharing right now?
Not right now, but.
I'm not, okay. Let me do that first. Hang on one second, guys. All right, there we go.
There we go.
So this team member actually did a number of things that now I am requiring any new team member who wants to get involved in the leadership segment of our work. So Kaylin was a new team member of ours who really just joined us about, I'd say 2, maybe 3 months or so ago. So you can see here some of the first automations that she set up. And what I love about this is when her status, so when a status of an item on her board changes to done, notify me. This is something I've now started to mandate for every single team member because, and this is not every single team member on the team because not everybody's involved with the programming and, you know, the economic mobility part of the work that I do, where I am predominantly focused on the development work and the economic development end of what I'm doing. But for anyone who's not involved with that, I don't ask them to update me on their status. But for anyone who is involved with that, this is how I stay in the know with what they're doing. Oftentimes I'll get a notification that something is complete and I'll schedule meetings. I will set up whatever needs to happen after that point. Automations is the way that I stay up to date with the rest of my team. And a very simple automation like this, like notifying me when something is done or complete, there are a number of different versions of this rule that you see here, this automation. So it could be when a person uploads a document, right? On the confidential documents, actually, Kaylin is our payroll person. So she is the person receiving those documents. I've set up a rule there that when a document is uploaded, immediately notify Kaylin. So this automated notification process is how I stay in the know with all of these many, many boards that we have now.
Yeah, that's really smart. I think that there's a lot of ways you can keep an eye on things, but making the automations work for you are definitely key. And to anyone who's listening, like you can set up automations to notify you via email, via the platform, inbox, calendar, and any way that really works for you. Obviously, Kathleen has found that text messages and everything kind of funneling into one place works. And you can all set that up through the automations, which we've seen here. I've seen this question pop up a couple times, so I'm not going to ignore it because I think it's a really good one. And I personally would love to hear how you did this because I work at Monday, so I learned the platform through everyday use. But the question is, my company's looking to use Monday. How did you become such a power user? And can you recommend any other webinars or tips and tricks that you may have picked up along the way to become and get to where you are today?
The YouTube channel. Check out monday.com's YouTube channel. I have learned most of what I've learned from there. The webinar series that they are offering is also really, really useful, but I have found everything I have needed to know and learn from monday.com's YouTube channel. So I am a frequent user of their YouTube channel. I would recommend it. It covers literally everything you could possibly dream of. So I would definitely recommend checking the YouTube, and starting there is a good place.
That is great.
It's hands-on. It's super hands-on. Like with the automations, they have everything laid out there for you, right? So they even have a beta version now where you can set up your own rules if you don't find the rule already set up for yourself. So Monday is also just a company that's constantly improving and constantly adding new features and new abilities. So another key to continuing to improve is continuing to keep a lookout for what Monday is offering now, which really continues to streamline and make work so much easier to stay have your whole team stay in the know.
Definitely. And our YouTube channel is one of many resources. I personally use it. I know the team that works on them, and I'll definitely pass on those words, Kathleen. I think they'll get excited to hear that. We also have a bunch of other resources and our customer experience team. So just to remind y'all, we will send out this webinar recording within 48 hours after we log off. If you have any questions about the things we talked about, I know we have answered over 50 questions so far, and there's still some in the chat. So feel free to follow up with us via email or follow up with Kathleen if you have questions on what she mentioned. We'd be happy to connect with you. And I know we're at time. I'm gonna ask one last question, and then if y'all want to stick around. Otherwise, we will send out the webinar, and you can always reach out to us at support@monday.com. Okay, this question is in regards to the Junction and the remote toast. So how did you come up with the idea to have like more of these like fun, engaging boards as opposed to the ones that track expenses, and how has the team reacted to those?
So they're all really super equally important for the mission work that we're doing and the social justice piece. We're working to create economic mobility for frontline entry-level restaurant workers. So the ramp there is really long and super steep. So everything, even the boring stuff, the expenses, and some of the other areas of the business has to be made available to the team. And it is because we want them to be able to look through the window of what's happening on the expenses front. We want them to be able to see what's going on, on our human resources to a limited capacity. We really want them to understand what it looks like, what conversations are going on, who we're talking to, for every part of what it is that we do. So making everything available to the team as much as legally possible for us and is safe for us is a strategy that we've put in place specifically for the economic mobility that we're looking to create. But when it comes to just generally for the Junction and some of the more fun boards, we have like a whole slew of other boards that are completely just social in nature. This is because we cannot even begin to think that we can create economic mobility if the workers can't relate to each other, feel like they are a real team, feel like other people have hobbies that are going on that they can also be a part of and they can learn about. Fun is as important to what we're doing as the actual work. So having Junction be important stuff. You can see like our staff announcements is at the top of that board, and that's intentional. We want them to get the information that they need. But we also just want them to have fun. We want them to relate. We want them to interact. And we're not having meetings anymore in person, unfortunately. So we can't have that interpersonal day-to-day, like I see your face in person every day. But this really, Junction enables us to continue to play around and have fun and share ideas and stories and a number of different things with each other. And that's just really, really important for the work that we're doing. We don't think that we'd be able to get it done without that.
Wow, amazing. It's a great way to end the webinar here. It's been really amazing to hear about it, inspiring to say the least, and I think a lot of the people in the chat have said similar things. Thank you again, Kathleen, for sharing. We'll send out the webinar, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Juan. Thank you everyone for joining. Bye.